Zach stood tall and proud, his dark eyes gleaming with a mix of emotions as he gazed at the city skyline from the rooftop terrace. The warm evening breeze ruffled his short, curly hair, a stark contrast to the storm brewing within him. At 25, he had already experienced more heartache than most, and tonight was no exception. He took a deep breath, trying to calm his racing heart. It had been a week since he discovered the truth about Annie, his girlfriend of 2 years. They had met at a mutual friend's party, and from the moment their eyes locked, there was an undeniable connection. Annie, with her shy smile and captivating dark eyes, had seemed like the perfect match for Zach's bold and extroverted personality. Their relationship blossomed quickly, and soon they were inseparable. Zach adored Annie's gentle nature and the way she brought out a softer side of him. They shared countless adventures, exploring the city's hidden gems and creating memories that Zach thought would last a lifetime. But as time passed, cracks began to show in their seemingly perfect relationship. Annie, always the reserved one, started becoming more distant, spending long hours at the library studying for her final exams. Zach, understanding the importance of her education, gave her the space she needed, never questioning her dedication. Little did he know, Annie's late-night study sessions were a facade. She had met someone else, a fellow student named Daniel, and their innocent study dates had evolved into something more. Annie found herself drawn to Daniel's quiet confidence and the way he made her feel special, a feeling she craved as her relationship with Zach started to feel routine. One fateful evening, Zach decided to surprise Annie at the library, wanting to show his support during her exam period. As he approached the study room, his heart sank as he heard laughter and whispers coming from within. Curiosity turned to suspicion as he recognized Annie's distinct giggle. With a trembling hand, he pushed open the door, only to find Annie and Daniel in a passionate embrace, their lips locked in a kiss. The betrayal stung like 1,000 needles piercing his heart. Zach stood frozen, his eyes burning with anger and hurt. Annie, startled by his sudden appearance, let out a gasp, her hand flying to her mouth. Daniel, equally shocked, stumbled back, his face a mask of guilt. Zach. Annie's voice trailed off, her eyes pleading for forgiveness. But Zach's expression remained cold and unyielding. Without a word, he turned on his heel and stormed out, leaving a trail of shattered hearts in his wake. In the days that followed, Zach struggled to process his emotions. He felt like a stranger in his own skin, his once vibrant spirit now a mere shadow of its former self. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, his mind consumed by the image of Annie and Daniel entwined in each other's arms. As the pain grew unbearable, Zach sought solace in the one place he knew would offer temporary relief, the local bar. He sat alone in the dimly lit room, nursing a glass of whiskey, the strong liquor burning his throat, a welcome distraction from the torment in his mind. Just as he was about to call it a night, a familiar figure caught his eye. It was Maya, Annie's younger sister. Maya, with her striking resemblance to Annie, had always been a source of comfort for Zach. She was the complete opposite of her sister, outgoing, adventurous, and fearless. Maya approached Zach with a mischievous smile, her dark eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Hey, stranger. Long time no see. Mind if I join you?" Zach, taken aback by her sudden appearance, managed a weak smile. "Maya. Of course, take a seat." She slid into the booth across from him, her long, dark hair cascading over her shoulders. "So, what brings you here? I thought you were studying for your exams." Maya's smile faltered for a moment, a hint of sadness flashing across her face. "Exams are overrated. I needed a break, and this place seemed like the perfect escape." Zach's curiosity piqued. Maya had always been the wild child, but something about her demeanor tonight seemed different. He decided to probe further. "Escape, huh? From what, if you don't mind me asking?" Maya's eyes darted around the room before settling on Zach, her gaze intense. "Family drama, as usual. Annie and I had a falling out. She's been acting strange lately, and I just needed some space." Zach's heart skipped a beat. He knew Maya was close to Annie, and the thought of them fighting tugged at his heartstrings. I'm sorry to hear that. Sisters should stick together. Maya's expression softened. I know, but sometimes it's hard. Annie's been keeping secrets, and I can't help but feel like she's drifting away from me. Zach's mind raced, his heart pounding with a mixture of guilt and anger. He wanted to confide in Maya, to tell her about Annie's betrayal, but something held him back. Instead, he found himself saying, secrets can be heavy burdens. Sometimes, it's better to let them go. Maya's eyes widened, her curiosity piqued. You sound like you speak from experience. Care to share? Zach hesitated, torn between his desire for revenge and his respect for Maya. He took a sip of his drink, buying himself some time. Let's just say I've learned the hard way that trust is a fragile thing. Maya leaned forward, her eyes fixed on Zach. I get the feeling there's more to this story. Come on, spill the beans. I'm a good listener. Zach's resolve weakened as he gazed into Maya's empathetic eyes. He found himself wanting to unburden his heart, to share the pain that had been consuming him. It's Annie, he began, his voice hoarse with emotion. I caught her with someone else. Maya's jaw dropped, her eyes widening in shock. What? No way. Annie would never. Zach held up his hand, cutting her off. I wish I could say the same, but I saw it with my own eyes. She was with another guy, kissing him like. He trailed off, unable to finish the sentence. Maya's face contorted with a mix of emotions, anger, disbelief, and a hint of something else Zach couldn't quite decipher. I can't believe it. Annie always seemed so devoted to you. How could she do this? Zach shook his head, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. I don't know. Maybe I wasn't enough. Maybe I failed her somehow. Maya reached across the table and placed her hand over Zach's, her touch warm and comforting. You didn't fail her, Zach. Annie made her choice, and it's not your fault. She'll regret losing you, I know it. Zach felt a surge of warmth at Maya's words, a glimmer of hope in the midst of his pain. He looked into her eyes, seeing not only Annie's sister but a kindred spirit, someone who understood his suffering. As the night wore on, Zach and Maya found themselves drawn closer together, their shared pain forging an unexpected bond. They talked, laughed, and shared stories, each finding solace in the other's company. Before they knew it, the bar was closing, and the staff began ushering them out. Maya stood, her movements graceful, and turned to Zach with a playful smile. Well, that was quite the night. Want to continue this somewhere else? Zach, feeling a mix of emotions, nodded, unable to resist the pull of Maya's magnetic personality. They stepped out into the cool night air, the city lights twinkling around them. Maya led Zach to a nearby park, a secluded spot she knew well. They sat on a bench, the soft grass beneath their feet, and continued their conversation under the starry sky. As they talked, Zach felt a shift in the air, an unspoken tension building between them. Maya's hand brushed against his, sending a jolt through his body. He turned to her, his eyes searching for answers, and found her lips mere inches from his own. Without a word, they kissed, their passion igniting like a wildfire. Maya's lips were soft and warm, her touch electric. Zach felt a rush of desire, a longing he hadn't experienced in a long time. As their kiss deepened, Zach's mind raced, torn between the pleasure of the moment and the guilt that threatened to consume him. But Maya's touch was like a balm, soothing his wounded heart, and he found himself surrendering to the moment. They made their way to a nearby hotel, their hands intertwined, their hearts pounding in unison. The night that followed was a blur of passion and desire, a release from the pain that had haunted them both. As the sun rose, casting its warm glow through the hotel room window, Zach and Maya lay entangled in each other's arms, their bodies exhausted yet satisfied. Zach's mind was a whirlwind of thoughts, his heart torn between his love for Annie and the undeniable connection he had formed with Maya. Maya stirred, her dark eyes fluttering open. She smiled, her lips brushing against Zach's cheek. That was... She trailed off, searching for the right words. Zach nodded, understanding the weight of their actions. It was. He paused, his voice thick with emotion. Revenge, in a way. But also something more. Maya propped herself up on one elbow, her hair falling in soft waves around her face. I know. It's complicated. But I'm glad we found each other, even if it was under these circumstances. Zach sat up, his eyes searching Maya's face. I am too. But what now? Where do we go from here? Maya's smile faded, replaced by a look of uncertainty. I don't know, Zach. I wish I had the answers. But I do know that I want to be here for you, whatever happens next. Zach reached out and took Maya's hand, his heart filled with a mix of emotions. I want that too. But I need time to process everything. I can't just forget about Annie, even if she betrayed me. Maya nodded, her eyes understanding. I get it. Take all the time you need. I'll be here, waiting. As they parted ways, Zach's mind was a maze of conflicting thoughts. He knew his actions had consequences, and the weight of his decision to be with Maya hung heavy on his shoulders. But in that moment, as he walked away, he felt a sense of liberation, a new chapter unfolding in his life. The future was uncertain, but one thing was clear: Zach's journey of healing and self-discovery had only just begun.